he needs.
Yeah, he can. It's a great looking Rumble, especially once he does have a bit of a lead. Ryze fairly similar, to be honest, as far as, mage champions go. We're going to get a Kalista ban here again against Zinc, but you never really want to give it away on red side.
Yeah, you certainly don't, and it also facilitates T-Gun a lot. I feel like Kalista, if you have a playmaking support, is a very useful AD carry to have. You can rip him out of danger. You can throw him back into the danger as he wants to get back in. Zenk also has a very, I guess, single-minded champion pool. He loves to get onto things like the Jinx, like the Kalista, and try and do some work.
Yeah, it does indeed. Here to see the last ban. It's another mid lane one. Perfection, eating all of the bans today.
Yeah, he's taken 3 bans on the chin right now. That is a huge chunk out of the mid lane champion pool that Immunity is just thrown straight at Perfection. And I like this tactic. Perfection with Chuffer gone, with Sharp maybe struggling a little bit. A lot of pressure now on him and Sybil. And without his core champion pool there, it's going to even be harder.
Yeah, it is indeed. And I like this Rumble ban a lot from Dives. A target ban, of course, against Ryu, whose Rumble we just spoke about moments before.
Up.
Morgana is up. That's true. It's a big T-Gun champion, but plenty of options here. But they only get one of them this pick.
Yeah, they certainly do. And, the reason I mentioned Morgana is he had that game against Legacy where he went completely bonkers and was able to carry through. And since then, we've been seeing a lot of Morgana bans pop up, and it's just something different to be able to get through. It's because of the power of things like Ryze that you get one less ban at the moment on the red side because of it.
Yeah, I mean, even Echo's another champion that a lot of teams are starting to pick very early on in their drafts. Immunity don't have too much longer to make this pick here. 15 seconds left, and again, a very wide open champion pool.
Yeah, it certainly is. And well, they go the Fizz there. That could be something in mid lane, more likely going to be in the top lane. Ryu might be playing that one up there. One of the few junglers that still does well with Smite Teleport, although he's got Ghost Clarity at the moment, so, maybe not sure about those
Having
ones.
some fun.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not going to be a cloud of it. You never know. But I do like the Fizz pickup. Champion just seems so strong right now.
Yeah, it certainly does. Hecarim's good at zoning groups. Fizz is really good at zoning one person and completely bullying them out of their team fight. Doesn't need to go as tanky as Hecarim. The challenging Smite really does make him, I guess, harder to deal with. He's got 4.9 cooldown on that E to make sure that he's always up there on the troll pole. Very, I guess, to kill him is one thing, but to get away from him, he just chases you forever.
Yeah, super sticky. A great anti-carry, I think, is a lot of what we've seen from Fizz. So against a player like King, who does like his hyper carries, we've seen his Twitch, we've seen his Vayne. Just this season alone here, King, that Fizz is a great pick against him. Just a good pick in general.
Yeah, it certainly is. And wow, both teams actually taking a very long time to decide what they want to look in. And the double knockup coming through from the Direwolves.
Yeah, actually keep it pretty standard there for the Direwolves, at least for the first 2 picks. Alistar and Rek'Sai. Standard stuff.
Yeah, and I love Alistar. If you're new to the support, you very straightforward kit. You pound the ground and people fly in the air, and then you use your ultimate and you become unkillable for 6 seconds. So if you are ever caught out in warding, things like that, it gives you a little bit of a get out of jail free card. We saw it used at MSI when it became very popular. Wolf was the person that really repopularized the Alistar pickup, and we've seen that coupled with things like Yasuo that's come back into the meta, and I'm sure Perfection plays that. Just a very strong pick.
Can you imagine Perfection Yasuo? That would be a thing of beauty here.
As soon as I see Rek'Sai Alistar, I'm just like, they have to be picking Yasuo.
That's the first thing I thought of, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Sharp, of course, used to be a mid laner. Might have that in the back pocket, although not really a Sharp mid lane champion from back in the day. And again, both teams taking their time with their draft. We've talked a lot, at least today, about drafts and how teams can be good or bad at them. Whoa, that's a Gragas pick. And there's a Sivir.
Yes.
That's a 20 hover. Maybe misclick the champion.
So Gragas being locked in, kind of the second strong jungler right now. Doesn't need as much time to get going as what Sejuani did. She got hurt because the early game jungle is starting to make a slight resurgence in Sivir. At the moment, Zenk going to be picking that one up. It's just so good at getting the rest of your team in there. Does good damage late game. The AoE shoves down turrets relatively well. Get out of jail free card with a spell shield. We talk about it a lot. You just need to hit it every now and again because she's one of those people that just has a lot in her kit and people kind of default to it, but it is still very strong.
Yeah, Civ is great here and enables so many other picks here as well. I mean, Fizz not necessarily what you think of when you think of champions to run along with Sivir, but we'll do just fine here. The only potential issue is that we started seeing a lot more counterplay towards Sivir.
Yeah, we certainly had, and the pick being flashed right now is the counterplay. You already had Jinx with long range, but you throw the headshot in from Caitlyn and it becomes a much more easily punishable way lane. You're also able to pilt over Peacemaker the wave, auto-attack the backline minions. You can shove out just as effectively. Your fast push is relatively good. You go through a mid-game trough, which is why we see it run with Noodle a lot, but it's still a very strong pick in the meta.
Yeah, it's great. And King, the type of player that can really bully someone. We said he had to lead the lane here. That's a great pick for him to do just that. And we've got the Narfo Sharp there as well.
Yeah, so Sharp gets his Gnar. That is the champion we see him default to very often now in the top lane. And I like the fact that you mentioned leading the lane. Don't even really need to be interactive in that lane anymore. Very hard to get caught out at the max range as Caitlyn. So just going to be able to sit back, farm, do his thing in the mid-game team fights. Maybe we won't see the same flashy lane experience coming out of King, but he certainly is on a hyper carry to carry through late.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he plays it because he played a lot of aggressive short-range champions in Split 1 and carrying through this split here as well. So curious to see what he does want to go for. I did like the Zillion Flash there, the cheese champion we saw in Split number 1. Always fun to have a look at, but might be keeping it very safe here, which would leave Ryu with that Fizz on the top side. Orianna Morgana seem to be their picks.
That's a throwback pick for Cheese. He's played it for so long. I think he picked it up last week as well. T-Gun back on the Morgana. Not surprised to see that one at all. Now all of a sudden Kalista, the ban makes a lot more sense because throwing a Morgana into a team comp is very scary, but with the ball, got a lot of ways to get in. The Shockwave into the Morgana ultimate as well. It's just a lot of synergy in general for the team.
Yeah, great stuff here. And again, good against a lot of these hard engaged champions. I mean, the laning itself is fine. I guess Morgana's a decent laner because Alistar, not really much of a laner at all. But if you time your Black Shields well, Alistar has a lot of trouble getting through them.
Yeah, exactly right. As long as you're able to get it when he's in transit, very hard as Alistar to swap combo targets. And once you're in, you're generally in. Like, it doesn't have a let's go out button, especially until level 6 when he can stay in for a little bit longer. So pressure on T-Gun to especially early be able to bully this lane along with Zhang, because Zhang's range could hurt him at the moment.
Yeah, you know, we might have some lane swaps. That means T-Gun's unlocked to roam, but we've seen just how good it can be when he roams as well. He won a mid lane for his team by roaming against the Legacy in that upset that they have. But Perfection will default to a classic here. We saw Aurelia, he was thinking about it, but he's going to go back to Vladimir.
Yeah, and you know, it looks like they were tempting him, like, do you want to pick up Hecarim? Hecarim's still available. Yeah. But Vladimir, also something that he played in the top lane. I think that the Chiefs for the team that historically banned it a lot, because I didn't like that one coming through. So up in the top lane, in the mid lane this time, we're going to see Perfection go back to an old favorite.
And again, it's different here. It is usually a top lane champion for him, but something he does have a lot of experience on. Scales work and carry very hard, but this has been the biggest thing for me with Perfection kind of moving to the mid lane. When he gets his cast and his twist of fate, he's able to roam around. He's a very effective mid laner. He's always been good mechanically. Vladimir needs a lot of farm to get going, and he doesn't have the luxury of just freezing waves on the top side and just never leaving.
Yeah, well, he also doesn't have the split push luxury where he can just keep running down top lane and shove top laners out. He's got a carry that can actually legitimately kill him in the mid lane in Orianna, so he's going to have to manage that expectation well. The thing about Vlad that I don't like normally, no CC in his kit. A heck of a lot of damage. The reason I like it in this matchup is because coupled with Gnar, whose kit is loaded in CC, also supplements the base damages that come through from Gnar's kit. It is a very devastating wombo.
Yeah, and again, King is going to benefit from that. The team, of course, just in general, going to benefit from Perfection's nicely placed Teemo Plague. So a lot going on here. It feels like a very Direwolf sort of comp, which is good. And I do like the fact that King and Perfection are sort of uncomfort champions here.
Yeah, I definitely think that King is going to have to play a little bit further back than he would like in the lane. Try and just poke around, get a CS advantage. But I think Perfection and Sharp are the two for me. Sharp just seems to be at his best in the top lane when he is able to get the Gnar.
Well, of course, we do have the team comps here as well. Very strong draws for both these sides. So we want your thoughts on who you think is going to win these matchups as well. Use the hashtag IamWin for Immunity or DWWin for Direwolves.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing we really do have to touch on is the fact that Immunity, otherness coming in here. They were playing with Ms. Fish. They haven't yet started him on the lineup. They were able to get him in for this week, and they're hoping that he can make a big impact and see whether he can go head-to-head with Sybil. Sybil's someone that generally, as the game goes on, tends to fall off, but a very aggressive early-game jungler.
Yeah, fits with the rest of his team. Likes to gank the lanes early, get them ahead. Even on the likes of Zach, which has been a very popular pick for him recently, he's still going in aggressively.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's trying to use that passive to ensure that his ganks are successful early on. Even invades relatively aggressively when he is able to play the jungler. One of the Sybil moments that stands out of my head is when he killed Carbon with Rengar last year. He's just always been one of those junglers, very snowball focus. He wants to get on top of the other jungler and then translate that into lane wins.
Well, he's on the right team if he's snowball focused, that's for sure. And he's going to be looking to these solo landers here of Dials to try and get them further ahead. Chippy's stepping into big shoes, of course, with Shuffle leaving. We'll see how he performs on a signature Shuffle champion now, the Alistar. But King's Caitlyn, that's my big question. I've seen a ton of his Caitlyn Shiver games, then a ton of his Graves games, then a couple of Vanna Twitch games that maybe I wasn't as excited about, but he's on a very different champion.
Yeah, he certainly is. It has a very big, different feel to it because he's not going to be able to, at every stage of the game, be ahead of his AD carry. Even if he gets ahead, Caitlyn doesn't necessarily feel like that, especially because she won't have the AoE impact, the good ultimate that will come through like Zenk does. So I agree, a lot of pressure on him. I like the fact that you pointed out the Alistar because you would think that Chippy's at one point is going to be caught with, do I roam at this stage? Because T-Gun will pack up and lead the lane. You can generally count on that. So I want to see whether Chippy's is confident enough to follow him in doing so.
Yeah, and it's going to be important because both Morgana and Alistar maybe even more so, are excellent roaming champions.
Oh, 100%. Like, Morgana beats him out level 1 because of the bind, but after that, the repetitive use of the Headbutt Pulverize combo burns summoner spells pretty much straight away. Most of the time, one of the CC effects still hits. You get kind of dazed as you're flashing because of the headbutt. So want to see whether he can nail the combo. And mid lane is where it's going to be at. Because if he can get Perfection rolling on a Comfort Vladimir, that is a champion that will do a heck of a lot of damage.
I think the mid lane's always interesting because Cheese, fairly aggressive laner, likes to try and bully. Perfection's the same, but on Vladimir, he's going to have to play a bit further back. I can tell you just firsthand for the matchup, Cheese will do very well early, but when Vladimir starts getting back control, Perfection will really try and put Cheese in the ground.
Yeah, he certainly will. As soon as he gets to the level 9 mark and has a revolver, that lane will be permanently shoved, and Orianna will be relegated to wave clearing. But that is good news for Orianna because, you know, she's always done good with a lot of farm. And there's one thing you can nearly guarantee against Vlad is that you will get creeps at some point in the game.
Yeah, the lane's going to be nice and neutral. I mean, Sharp on Nas Comfort again. Dial's probably making the best of what's an awkward situation with Shuffle leaving sort of early in the week. But we'll see what they do. They're still a strong team. They've got plenty of good players left. Just unfortunately for them, one of their best had to go.
Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, it's the leadership qualities that I really want to see if they can answer. Who's going to step up and try and carry them through this early mid game when they would have relied on the roaming support to do so?
Well, it's going to be a close one. We'll drop back into the studio to find out who's going to win.
Thank you very much, Pace Time, and welcome back to the caster desk. Ready to get into this game, Rusty and I. And Rusty, what's your opinion on how this is going to work? Because, of course, look, Vladimir, pretty perfection champion. I mean, a lot of people haven't necessarily seen a lot of this, but I mean, has been playing it for a long, long time. Of course, perfection, a massively old player. But will he take a while to get rolling?
It always takes a while for the Vlad to get rolling, of course, and the rest of the Direwolves lineup seemingly on more comfortable champions. But Perfection, that mid lane is going to be a big talking point. As Jake and Pastry mentioned, the fact that the jungle pressure most likely going to be around there. Cheese always looking to take on his opponent 1v1 and just try and find the kills. Vlad's going to be very susceptible to dying from those ganks and kills from Cheese. So a lot of pressure going to go around that area. A lot of focus will be there. But my big talking point is how is Chippy's going to perform as a top laner now as a support?
Yeah, and this is the interesting thing. I was going to actually talk to you about this because Alistair, he had a bit of a stint of being a top laner. Do you think Chippies would have known about, you know, played a little bit of that when he was, you know, one of those top lane champions that you could pick?
The stretch would have been more so the Nautilus, perhaps, but we are seeing the Alistar and Chippies. We'll see how he does go, but we are in the game now.
Yeah, we are certainly under the rift, ladies and gentlemen. Our third game of the evening, Immunity taking on the Direwolves. Immunity this time are going to be over on the blue side. Of course, a rematch. Direwolves taking this one the first time around, and Immunity looking for some revenge here. And T-Gun, maybe a little bit out of position, but going to find some solace in the brush. Pulled to death.
All of the money just going to T-Gun and warding on top of his ward just to let him know.
Yeah, and standing there, you know, not scared.
Sending a message.
Message has been well and truly received. And Immunity actually now with the gold lead.
Oh. The message has been heard and responded.
Now, Chippy's is having a giggle about the whole situation. But that's fine. Looks like standard lanes are going to erupt. And, man, this seems bad for Immunity because Siva, not necessarily with the same range as a Caitlyn.
No, but not also having the Janna with that Caitlyn as well. So it's not an overwhelming one-on-one style of thing. T-Gun starting with that pull indicates to me they're looking to push them under the turret as soon as possible. Maybe even the W start here from the Siva. Get the wave under the turret. Stop the Caitlyn from controlling the lane. That's when you can actually take hold of a Caitlyn lane.
Well, we'll see whether they can actually do that. Of course, Zenk and T-Gun with a little bit more time to create synergy than King and Chippies. So we'll see whether that's going to play anything into this one. And Ryu, here on the top lane, and this guy has been a polarizing point for Immunity. He's had some fantastic performances. He's had some interesting ones as well, and Sharp has definitely been back and forth at the same time. I feel like this is going to be a volatile lane.
It's definitely going to be a volatile lane as the Gromp casually reset there.
Oh, silly Gromp.
For it. It's a bit awkward. Anyway, yes.
You okay, Rusty?
I got distracted by a Gromp. Ryu is a very polarizing player. If he gets ahead at all, he seems to fulfill his purpose of being that big, brutish frontline. We saw it with the Rumble where he carried super hard. But if he doesn't get ahead, he seems to just struggle that little bit.
Well, Sharp has been relatively similar, so we'll see who's going to get the most of this one, as the Boomerang's actually going to fly over Ryu here. Does have to be a little bit careful, but he's got some potions. He's got a flask there as well, and Sybil wishes he had some of those at the same time. 300 health now for the Rek'Sai, but it's going to be A-OK.
Yeah, speaking of A-OK, Chippies are definitely not.
Not so much. Maybe going a little bit overly aggressive here. King just going to keep clearing out these minions. Dark Binding from T-Gun lands them soil as well, so already Immunity with a hard shove in the bottom lane. Could be dangerous here for the Direwolves.
Exactly where they want to be, this Immunity bottom lane. Keeping the Caitlyn to the last hitting duties. Relegate her to not hitting you, and then you're in a comfortable position. In terms of health, though, not necessarily in the most comfortable position, as we see a lot of aggression and no surprises in the mid.
No, most definitely not. Perfection. You looking to just be as aggressive as he possibly can be at the early stages of this Vladimir. And does he have sort of any early spikes, or is it all about getting to that level 9?
We'll see right now.
Well, Sybil's going to create one here as Cheese has to be very careful. Still has the flash there, but the flash might be a little bit too late. Doesn't have the ignite, though, so Perfection not going to be able to lock down that kill, and Cheese just going to blow the summoner.
They do blow the summoner. The Vlad was essentially winning that lane already, though. Did not even use a pot, and Orianna had to use hers. And that's very, very awkward to be in that position as the Orianna, because you're starting to lose trades against someone who has innately got much more sustain. And speaking of losing trades, Sharp having a rough time now as well. Yeah, 200 health now. Ryu looking for an Urchin Strike. He's already level 4, so Playful Tricks are going to have a couple of points in it. Actually deciding to max that W first. So we'll see how that one goes. Of course, that's the thing here for a top lane Fizz. Used to the E-Max just in the mid lane, but not going to look for that burst damage. Going to look for the sustain of that Seastone Trident. Yeah, not running the CDR Troll Pole Fizz. We're running a tanky Cinderhulk style Fizz in the top lane. It's going to start working out as if it isn't already. And what I just saw there is one of the things I like about the Sivir into the Caitlyn matchup. You get free mana from the traps. Well, Otherness making his first move towards the top side, and he makes it count. Picks up first blood, and Sharp is definitely dead. Does have the teleport, can return to the lane, but we'll see whether he decides to do so or whether he wants to use that for something else. A smart gank right there. Sharp was overstaying his welcome indefinitely. Even through the flash, they pick up the kill there. And a very comfortable position now is Ryu. We said that if he gets snowballing, he generally continues that snowball through to the rest of the game. And speaking of potential snowballs, no, he's not going to find him at all. No, but speaking about not finding things, Zenk hasn't found a lot of farm. This is a whole lot of this bottom lane. No, no, it's beautiful. Love it. Just keep it coming. Keep it coming. Speaking of keeping it coming, King actually aggressively pushing in this bot lane, trying to get some CS advantage to grow even more than what it already was. Oh my goodness, he's trying. He's going for the segue. Yeah, that was way too hard. Yeah, it was a bit of a stretch there. As Perfection in a bit of trouble here. Cheese with the ignite still in his back pocket. He's going to dissonance himself away, and he's going to be all right. But the pressure that is being put down by Sybil is worth noting. The fact that Cheese has to just completely zone himself from what is potentially some last hits and minions and just raw control of the lane. Perfection finding himself closer and closer to that, at the very least, a level 7 milestone where you get some extra sustain, and then that level 9 goal where your sustain is just through the roof. And because there is so much pressure there from Sybil, it's forcing Cheese to not be able to consistently out-trade Perfection. It's giving him opportunities to get his health back. Well, we'll see whether Zenk can get some opportunities to kill some minions here on the bottom side of the map. 48 to 28 CS. As the Dark Binding, so close from T-Gun. King just going to continue moving forward now as well. Otherness finds himself without an opportunity to gank the lane and is just going to head back to the jungle. Just keep farming. Look for that explosive cast to get things really started. Yeah, Caitlyn having a... Sharp going to get soloed out by Ryu in the top lane. And man, I told you this guy was polarizing. He can get solo kills if given the tools. Yeah, exactly. He's found himself with a solo kill, and speaking of...
Yeah, here's the Hemo Plague. Cheese finding that there's still multiple members here in the mid lane. Preyseeker's going to find him as well. Otherness going to find Sybil, though. And Cheese going hyper aggressive in the mid lane. Didn't have his flash. Perfections has just come back up again.
Oh my god, Sybil.
Oh, Sybil, Preyseeking.
Doing what needs to be done is Sybil right now, and you can see Cheese trying his best to do the exact same in the opposite direction. Put the pressure down onto Perfection while you still can. But every time that he tries to do it, there is someone in his lane, and it is always this Rek'Sai.
Does mean that Sybil's unable to help any of his other lanes. Of course, the top lane paying for it over this side, as Sybil doesn't find Otherness either. Otherness hasn't actually smited that yet, so no little Wolf Spirit to catch him out there, but King continues to dominate this bottom lane.
Yeah, the lead is actually growing more and more in this bottom lane, already at about a 30 CS difference, 31 CS roughly, as the minions start to continue to crash under the turret.
Oh, Sybil tunneling in one more time. There's the shockwave as Sybil taking a few turret shots. One more would have been enough, but she's unable to lock it down, and man, how many times was that?
Too many? Is that it's clearly working, so not too many. They find themselves eventually picking up that kill onto Cheese. Perfection with a CS advantage, getting that level 7 now in a very great position.
Yeah, there's the headbutt pulverized. T-Gun looking for a Dark Binding, but King just wanders out of it. Boomerang going to help pick up some more farm as Ryu just troll polling around. Sharp going to throw some boulders in anger.
Still quite behind in farm though, is Ryu.
Yeah, and here's the fish down as well as Ryu looking to try and get some damage down. Seastone Triton doing so much work. Urchin Strike, is it there? No, and there's no flash from Ryu, so he can't follow it up. Lots of creeps, so hopefully he can pick up some more of that farm, but you're exactly right, Sharp. Staying ahead, doing some work. Yeah,
staying ahead in farm is basically every lane right now and how they're managing to find these leads. Sybil putting pressure in mid lane, of course, the reason why Vladimir has more fun than Orianna, but Ryu managing to find solo kills, still being down in farm is an issue.
Yeah, it's a problem here for the immunity lineup, but see how it translates into the next couple of fights if they do happen. Of course, no dragons to be taken just yet, 9 minutes into the game. Nothing early, nothing fancy. Of course, no lane swaps, so not going to be giving anyone any inherent advantages on that front. Cheese definitely wanting this blue buff, and Perfection probably not caring too much, but does like the cooldown reduction.
Yeah, always going to love that cooldown reduction. Embrace the fact that you can get more and more of that. You need the blue buff to be able to out-trade a Vladimir at this stage of the game. T-Gun's just going to be casual about walking out.
Yeah, you can't dark bind trees either, T-Gun. We'll talk to him about that when he's on the desk.
I'm sure you can.
No, not those ones. Only Maokai's. Never in this game, so no worries. Preyseeker going to find the Scuttlebug, and Direwolves, speaking of dragons, are going to take down their first of the game by the looks of things. Immunity are sort of around, but with Otherness on the top side of the map, it is going to mean that this one's going to go to the Direwolves, unless T-Gun can do anything sneaky.
Yeah, no, it's just going to get the blinding on the King to prevent any aggression forward in his direction. Direwolves are going to be able to pick this one up essentially uncontested, and I mean, they're starting to command the entire map here, and it's been happening as a result of a strong bot lane.
Otherness putting it to perfection right now, and sneakily takes away the Raptor.
Yeah, very
no
casual.
problem. Another all-in from Ryu, though, looking for Sharp. There's the Hex Drinker as he dodges out of the way of the wallop, but Ryu not going to be able to dodge the Gnar.
No, not looking to pick up his rock. Instead, he's going to find the Gragas.
Otherness. He's going to get smited. Sharp. Oh, my goodness. There's the barrel. Lands everything. Ryu, can he get in there? Tanking up the turret is Otherness, but Ryu very, very low. Otherness gets the kill. Not going to be enough. And he is going to fall down. So a 1-for-1. And you'd imagine Sharp's probably happy to take that.
Yeah, very aggressive dive. And speaking of...
Oh my goodness, Zenk so close to dead. Flashes forward, does King, but there's the Soul Shackles. He uses the heal, but T-Gun locks it down. Chippies could have potentially gone for some sort of sneaky dive, but not going to this time around. And there's 1-for-1s going everywhere.
Lots of trading happening everywhere. The bot lane, both AD carries actually going down, and Sybil looking to make it a positive trade.
Yeah, here's the tunnel from Sybil. He's still underground as T-Gun flashes over the top, so he's going to be safe, but forced to use the summoner.
And Sybil just putting pressure absolutely everywhere right now. Cheese is in a very rough position in this mid lane. The revolver has come out from Perfection in a very comfortable position, and now this mid lane almost entirely in control of the Vladimir. At his will is Cheese.
Yeah, well, he's still only 3 CS behind, so that can be spoken of here for Cheese. I believe he just took down the Wolf camp as well, or at least tried to, but thought that he might have potentially died from that one. Ryu now with a level advantage, even on farm though, still looking to try and put the pressure down onto Sharp. Does have, of course, the Skirmishes Saber completed in the form of that Cinder Hulk. And tides of blood just all over things here in the mid lane, and Perfection, he's going to do that this whole game.
This range advantage between the Caitlyn and the Civ are really having an impact right now. From the start of this game, the CS advantage favoring King and starting to grow more and more at the moment as we see Sharp and Ryu again.
Yep, more.
Just again.
And it's just constant all-ins by the looks of things for Ryu. He's just wanting to go super aggressive whenever he can. It's just whenever the fish is off cooldown.
Just lots of recalls, really. Sharp hasn't really died much from it at all.
He certainly recalled a lot, though.
Yeah. The tower's eventually going to go down. Direwall's just kind of letting it mellow out, take as many minions away from immunity as possible, let the zone and the CS differential just grow as much as possible before that turret does go down. But they may even look for
CS
2
lead at
kills.
13 minutes, though. That's revolting.
They're probably going to look for 2 kills with the turret.
Well, Sybil is, of course, here. He will be able to help out there. Cheese moving over a whole bunch of wards as he gets down towards the bottom side. But immunity with a fair bit of vision, actually.
Yeah,
try and get
vision.
something done.
They're in a very comfortable position knowing that Sybil is not visible on the map first and foremost. You can see they're playing quite defensively, assumedly that there is a Rek'Sai in bot lane. Based on the health of the turret and the way that immunity are now rotating as well.
There's the flash, but T-Gun uses the Black Shield. There's the Soul Shackles onto a multiple members, and King, he's going to get the focus. Zenk locks down the kill. T-Gun didn't even die as Chippy's had the ultimate, but gets explosive cast back. It's going to run out now. They can focus on the cow, but not going to get there, and immunity walk away with the kill.
An aggressive engage there from Chippy's, trying to find his target, but turning around in its face right there, as you can see Morgana using her ultimate. Gragas coming in knowingly that Rek'Sai was nearby. Very smart play from this Gragas. And I mean, the pressure in this mid lane, he's going to dive.
Yeah, Cheese actually going to have to be very careful to pull from Perfection. There's the Shockwave. The Ignite's down as well as Perfection. Is he going to die to the Ignite? One more tick, not enough. Calculated by the Vladimir.
The red pot is the real hero in that engage right there. The Shockwave connecting, and apparently Chip is dying.
Yeah, Chip's going to fall down in the bottom lane. Zenk has to run away from Sybil. He's going to use the flash, but Perfection not going to get spotted by Otherness.
That was really good.
Oh, come on. Don't you always check the wolf pit though? Come on, don't you?
Not always.
That's where I always try to hide.
Usually
Everyone
check on the
finds
other
me.
side of that
Everyone,
ridge.
every time. Can't hide. Well, sorry, it's a little bit of salt coming out from the casting staff here at this point. Yeah, no, I apologize. Otherness making his way towards the top side of the map as Sharp might need to be a little bit more careful once again. Oh, Fish going to go a little bit wide. Bouncy time just going to get Sharp out of there.
And the Fish no good in this case. Every other Fish has connected so far, but the CS lead again starting to grow now in favor of Ryu, which is nice and it is important. But we have to look at the most important part is this mid lane difference.
Yeah, and there's the Dark Binding landing, but Perfection
Shrugging it off.
Yeah, he just doesn't care.
He seriously does not.
Yeah, and he feels like his Q's worth using if he's low on health as well, so he's probably happy to sit at about half.
He has a Negatron cloak with a book. Like a Will of the Ancients completed right now.
Cape and a book. He's a wizard.
Yeah, he's basically full wizard spec at the moment.
Or he's at least at Hogwarts. I don't know whether he's a wizard just yet, you know, but he can attend.
Yeah, Hogwarts attendee. We'll see if he's a wizard as the game progresses. Starting to ramp up in his damage at the moment.
Yeah, needs a staff. We'll see whether he picks up a staff.
One of Void, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, or even a scepter. You could grab one of those as well, and definitely needs a hat. Oh well, Dark Binding not going to find Perfection here as well, as he's forced to defend his turret. Not a position that he's used to in this lane thus far, but look, he can just soak as much damage as he likes. Cheese trying to put down some pressure, but Sybil's just played this so incredibly well. He knows that the rest of his lane's more than happy to sit back, and he needs to make sure that Perfection gets to the point where he's level 9 and he can self-sustain himself through everything, and he has. Yeah,
exactly. Getting Perfection to the point of self-sufficient sustain that he is definitely capable of. The Vlad having that revolver and then level 9 as well, very big factors, and now he's so far past that stage that even Orianna with the blue buff and an Athene's finished cannot push the Vladimir out of lane. They are keeping him under the turret at the very least. Immunity finding moments to get control in areas, but he's going to be able to flank. He's not going to care about damage.
Well, the rest of Immunity think that he might care if they convince him, but he's just going to walk away. Does blow the Ghost at least, so they trade the Dragon for the Vladimir's Summoner spell. T-Gun's still looking to try and lock people down, but there's not a whole lot of Dark Binding targets, apart from King.
Yeah, it's quite hard to actually get an ideal target. The Direwolves lineup right now is almost exclusively a front line. You can see even the early Negatron from Perfection is indication of that, as Sharp is just actually starting to turn the lane back around a bit.
Yeah, it looks like as soon as Ryu's not all inning, Sharp's doing A-OK, as the pull is going to get out here from Immunity, as they're looking just to try and shove down this turret. A bit of damage now with multiple range members of the Immunity lineup, and Black Shield actually going to help out here as Hemoplate comes through. There's the Shockwave onto Perfection, though, as he gets the ball back in. Cheese picks up the kill. Actually, T-Gunner's Cheese is going to die for it. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, King's just going to destroy Zenka's Chippies.
Nice.
What? Where did he go?
Nice flash there from T-Gun, but
Very
you're right,
nice.
Zenk going down in the bot lane, the same time as Cheese with his over-aggression finds himself with a kill onto Perfection, but it's not worth it if you've got Rek'Sai just there in the wings to clean the rest of you up, and the turret's super low. You have to question, why did Cheese actually stop hitting the turret to put damage down onto Perfection when it resulted in a 1-for-1?
Yeah, they did manage to get the kill, I guess, but that only means that Perfection gets his Scepter and picks himself up another book. Oh, this guy's taken so many subjects, man, and it's going to be really difficult once he's learned in all of those areas, possibly by that level 18 mark.
Fully fledged magician now, though. He's got a scepter.
He does indeed. Now looking to get himself out of this one. Chippies nails the headbutt Pulverize, but mostly just to show that he can.
That has to be satisfying, though. As the top main, being able to hit the combo is definitely worth a lot.
Oh, it's important. It is most definitely important. Showing that he did used to play a bit of Alistar.
Yeah.
Back when
everyone did.
The headbutt was a little bit silly.
The CS difference between this bot lane right now, though, King and Zenk, almost raw farming differential at the moment, is about 50 CS. The Caitlyn has had so much more of an impact, even around the 19-minute mark, where the Sivir starts to become relevant with just the ultimate alone. The Caitlyn seemingly having much more of an impact. T-Gun finds the bind.
Oh, there's the bind. The fish comes out as well as Ryu's going to get headbutted, but King already super low. There's a playful Trickster, uses the heal. King tries to play around in the brush, but it's not going to be enough. Otherness looking to pick up Chippies. He does have the ultimate, and Immunity going to take a while to kill him, and Cheese knows that the rest of Dials are coming up. Perfection flashes forward, though. There's a Hemoplate. Cheese is going to get obliterated. Sharp locks down the kill, and King dies. Direwolves look like they get very upset.
Cheese hit for 6 right there into the middle of the Direwolves team. They pick up an easy kill onto this Orianna. Can't even use the Shockwave before going down. The Meganar CC combo is massive. They're finding a trade in the bot lane for that turret, but at the same time, the Direwolves are just getting raw kill amounts from it as T-Gun.
Yeah, it does have the ultimate, though, as Sharp is going to get stunned from that. Dark Binding going to come through as well. Nice layering of CC, but Perfection it's going to mean that no one wants to go anywhere near it.
Did T-Gun just spell shield the Nard jump? Is that a thing?
Spell shield the jump?
Yeah, Nard's E.
Ah.
Because he only bounced once and it was over the top of T-Gun. So unless he directly missed that jump, it almost looked like the spell shield stopped it. But don't let me... Someone just let us know.
Sounds cute.
Yeah.
Sounds cute. Make sure you hop on Twitter. While you're showing us your game faces, maybe drop us some knowledge at the same time.
Game faces are definitely welcomed with that.
I think game faces are probably more important.
You have to try and
if we're going to put them there.
Say that much.
Well, I don't know whether anyone can, especially not yours.
It's pretty unique.
It is most definitely unique. Good choice of words. T-Gun's going to get caught. There's a whole lot of knockups. Headbutted back into the pit as Ryu wants to help. He looks like he's excited about it, but he just can't make anything happen. And Immunity going to lose their support and possibly some little Cinderlings. Cheese now trying to keep a hold of his lane. And Zenk putting pressure on the top side, so he's actually 1v1 here against Sharp at the moment.
Yeah, you can quite easily 1v1 against some magic resistance stacking Gnar.
Oh, Perfection's burning down, but Cheese, he's going to die. 3 members. Most definitely going to be enough to take him down, and Perfection, you can see already almost back to half health.
Yeah, Perfection, this Vladimir starting to go off right now. Cheese is 0-5 in this mid lane. Has had a very difficult game. Zenk trying his best to make something happen in every outside opposite lane. He's got a very good 1v1 against Sharp, but he just can't do the same work that his Direwolves are doing.
Yeah, Hemoblade going to come through. There's the explosive cast. His Otherness is trying to find his way out. There's a fish that lands, though, as Ryu going aggressive onto Perfection. Seastone Trident helping him out there, trying to get the extra damage down as T-Gun looking to find his way in. He's got the ultimate. Just uses it here as Sybil going to take down Ryu. King finds his way in as well and doesn't get the Peacemaker, but T-Gun, you are super dead. King locks down that kill and he's going to transition into a tower.
Ryu sacrificing himself, and meanwhile...
Zenk gets a kill in the top lane, but the inner turret falls down and Direwolves, they're going to be okay with it.
Fighting trades where they can, Immunity. They do get a kill in the top lane. It maybe will result in a tower depending on how those 3 little blue dots actually go on their magical journey. Direwolves finding a mid lane turret, finding kills everywhere, and now translating it back to the bottom lane. They are in the driver's seat right now. They're 7k ahead, and they are just looking to cement it even further.
Yep, Zenk is going to be able to take down the outer turret here on the top side of the map. So 6,000 gold the lead, as you said. 22 minutes into the game. Direwolves now just looking to pick up their 3rd dragon of the game. It's up conveniently in another 3 seconds now as well. Perfection going to move down towards that one, but a few more members of Immunity on this side of the map. Sybil just speeding forward to get a ward down. Oh, so cute. Void Ruff, that is not bad. Otherness does get some vision here on this dragon and is going to sweep out more around the outside. T-Gun looking for a binding if he can. Oh, Otherness is going to find his way in, but Smite's a little bit too early. Explosive Cask is going to be there, but he gets out.
He did
but he doesn't get the dragon.
He gave it a good go. He got out with his life. That is the big factor. Given 23 minutes into the game, Direwolves were looking to recall after all of that fighting. They haven't had the chance yet. You may as well go all in knowing that their items aren't at the high enough level of what they're going to be now.
Well, Immunity now looks to push on this outer turret. There's the belly bop onto Perfection. Gets himself a little bit of a slow as well from Otherness. So Direwolves lose their outer turret in the mid lane and Immunity are going to back away. King, though, is just getting to a point where he's very tough to stop. Oh, there's the ultimate in the mid lane as well. The teleport coming down. Perfection trying to turn this one around as the pull comes out. Sharp triple Nara into the wall as Ryu now trying to turn it around, but Direwolves 2 kills already on both of the carries. Perfection super low. Ryu's going to lock down that kill and Otherness trying to escape now, but that's a 3 for 4 and Immunity. They tried to get something started, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, the 1 for 4 trade overall right now. They're going to be able to go for that Baron if they choose. Ryu, the only one left alive with no fish, and they have started this one up. A fantastic team fight. 7, 0, and 5 is Sybil right now. He has been doing so much work. Even Sharp hitting these Nara ultimates. They're making bouncy castles out of the map right now.
Oh, yeah.
Destroying everyone that those two touch.
Yeah, and the Direwolves just exploiting every weakness that they can find on Immunity as well. Of course, the early game was going to be that immobile Orianna in the mid lane where Sybil just did not let him go. And as soon as he picked up that first kill, just used that to snowball the rest of the map. It was just beautiful to see. And Direwolves, they just know how to play around their carries.
They do. They've actually played exceptionally smart. And you have to give a lot of credit again to Sybil. The way that he ganked, where he ganked, and especially when. He was always in the right place at the right time. And Immunity innately losing their bot lane though, because King having that range advantage on Zenk made it very difficult. Chippy's essentially just facilitating the fact that King is at such a high range advantage. Their bot lane came through so strong. The CS lead right now is only growing. The top lane is the saving grace of this Immunity team right now though. They find themselves with a 3, 1, and 2 Ryu on Fizz. He can blow someone up, but the question is, are they going to be able to win a team fight if he blows up one person? He's an assassin, and they're looking for a strong team fight.
And the Direwolves now as well, just controlling so much of the map at the same time. There's just not a way in here for Immunity as even Ryu. It's got a frozen heart, but King, by the looks of things, it's not like it's there. The fish comes down, though. Ryu's still wanting it. King super low. Zenk locks down the kill. Teleport in from Sharp, and he doesn't have the Mega Nart just yet. As Ryu with a very cute maneuver going to get himself over the wall. And Immunity, there's some fight left in these guys.
Definitely. Ryu, as we said, hitting the fish, connecting and taking out King. He cannot do anything, King, at this stage in the game with only offensive items. If that fish connects, he's going to go down. The teleport used by Sharp as more of a defensive tool, but Direwolves want to go.
Yeah, T-Gun super low in this one as well as the shockwave comes in, but Perfection makes his way around at exactly the right time. Cheese trying to protect himself, but Hemo Plague just tears him in half. Otherness gets out with a body slam, but man, Immunity just melting, and this is a gigantic Vladimir.
Yeah, he's got that death cap now, so he is a fully fledged wizard like he wasn't already. Ridiculous. 2-2 and 11, basically only farming, but his lane opponent 0-7 and 2. It goes to show how getting one person behind can affect the team fight.
Oh, there's the flash from Chippies. Gets the headbutt onto Otherness, and he's just going to fall down. The fish comes in there as Ryu's just trying to be sneaky in this fight. Zenk finds his way around. Perfection there, though. And it's just like Immunity. All of the effort they put in is just healed back by this Vladimir.
Wow.
Turret falls down, and Zenk a little bit late on the spell shield, but I don't think that that is all that matters at this point.
No, Perfection only going to get bigger from here. Only having magic resistance, able to convincingly out-trade the Sivers. The Wolf is going to live to see another day at the moment.
He's going to fall asleep. Okay. Yeah, there it is.
There we
go.
Nice.
Go back for the other one. There it is. No, not going to do that. King looking to take down himself some more camps. And this is just the way of the Caitlyn. The way of the Caitlyn. I just want to kill everything.
Taking everything they can. Definitely taking everything they can. Are bleeding out, essentially, Immunity right now. They're in such a rough position.
I like it. The rivers will run red, Rusty.
It wasn't, but it is now.
Yep.
10K is the gold lead right now for Direwolves, though. Vladimir is a big talking point, puns aside. He's doing so much work for their team. They're basically to the point where they can dive this Immunity lineup. And it's not usually a team comp that you would want to dive. But they are so easily able to do so with that Meganar, with the Hemo Plague, even with the Caitlyn having such a high range. Chippies with that Alistar, they're going to make it almost look easy.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, you've got sort of this anti-diveable sort of comp here from Immunity, but you look over the Direwolves, they've got so much of an ability to juggle aggro, to negate damage. It's just ridiculous. And as soon as Chippies makes his way under there with the Unbreakable Will, he's not taking any damage. He's got a Frozen Heart and a Righteous Glory. This is the richest Alistar that I've ever seen. He's got the same score as Perfection.
That's a pretty rich guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to take any damage, especially with that ultimate. And Cheese and the rest of Immunity trying to push out of their base, but it's starting to feel like the biggest uphill battle ever. 12 to 19, they've got the kills, they've got the team comp and the makings to get a team fight. You can see all of the relevant tanky items being completed by Ryu, working towards what looks like a Blade of the Wrong King, perhaps, and trying to find some damage of his own, knowing that he needs damage for his team.
Well, Dragon getting taken down very quickly here. Ryu trying to make his way in as well as Otherness goes for another steal. The Shockwave only onto Sybil as Dark Binding comes in. It's a decent try, and Immunity don't lose anyone, but they lose the Dragon, and that's number 4 to nothing in favor of Direwolves.
They lose the Shockwave, though. There is essentially as if they had a very little chance of defending any dive or turret or push. That just became a lot less possible because there is no Shockwave. There's no zone control with that ball. They're looking to just stop Direwolves from actually getting near a chance to dive by keeping control of the sidewaves. And if you could credit Immunity for one thing, their sidewave control on the back of the fact that Zenk has never been anywhere besides the side lane, their wave control has been phenomenal.
Yeah, most certainly been making things happen as Sharp just continues to make his way around the bottom side of the map, and now very happy in this lane matchup now. 4-4-4 against the 3-1-4. And it's not a lot of time that we talk about Immunity and we talk about the fact that Ryu is the one doing all of the work, but at the moment, this Fizz seems to be like what everything's hinging on for Immunity.
100% everything in this game seems to be hinging on Ryu right now. And while we talk about everything hinging on Ryu, he's about to find a lot of people. No, he's not. They're going mid.
And T-Gun with an interesting build. He's got the Zhonyas sitting in his back pocket. Of course, Sightstone's there as well, but
that's a Zhonyas with nothing else in between. I like the fact that you can go for a Talisman as Orianna now, as Morgana now, because it's so much cheaper, the cooldown is so low, and it's just much more efficient. But he has opted raw damage, no utility.
Yeah, well, I guess it does give him a more guaranteed stun, potentially.
It's useful for the second part of your ultimate.
And you can block the Hemo Plague.
Yeah, the fact that you can be literally in their face and working around the fact that you have a Zhonyas, it sets up team fights differently, of course, but you could have, at the very least, kept the money item.
Yeah. Look, it's an interesting choice. Of course, I think Bilgewater Cutlass on Caitlyn is also a very interesting choice. Direwolves flat out don't like it myself, just because you've got so much range, you never get to use the active. But I guess if someone gets in close enough, you might be able to use it.
Less so about the active, more so about the fact that you're shredding tanks. You've got a Cinderhulk Fizz, you've got Gragas with the Cinderhulk also.
Yeah, good point.
Bladed on King. For the on-hit effect is worth it alone.
Yeah, well, teleport from Ryu. Looking to find his way into this fight. Direwolves, they back away from the Baron as Sybil going to get caught by that Dark Binding, but doesn't seem to worry about it too much at all as the blue buff comes in for Cheese. He does protect himself, and Perfection gets caught by Ryu just a little bit. That's a single-man ultimate, but followed by one from Cheese as well. Two-man knock-up from Chippies, and Ryu going to get obliterated. There's the Igniters. T-Gun comes in. Does he have the Zonyas? He does. That's a three-man stun, but the rest of the team not quite there. And Immunity get destroyed. My goodness, Zank was there for a second, but just out of position, and Direwolves pinpoint shot calling in that fight.
Every member of the Direwolves doing so much work right there on an individual level. Chippy's hitting the knock-up on the two priority targets, allowing Perfection to get all of his damage up with that Hemo Plague still in effect. Vladimir was the engaged choice of Ryu right there, and it did not go to plan whatsoever. He lived through that quite easily. The Abyssal Scepter coming up massive, and they just don't have an answer at the moment. Every single member of the Direwolves has their number here on Immunity, and try as they might to come out ahead in a team fight, it seemingly is only going to result in more Barons and more Dragons in favor of Direwolves.
Yeah, and the Baron now going to be taken down by the Direwolves. 24 kills to 12, 33 minutes into this game, and the Direwolves have just had every single trick so far. 2 Barons, 4 Dragons, and King has just looked so strong on this Caitlyn as well. 130 CS in the lead, approximately.
I mean, both AD carries have kind of just been side parts of this game at the moment. They've essentially just been split pushing the entire time, and we haven't seen a whole lot of King in this game. We've seen a whole lot more of Sybil, Sharp, and Perfection. It seems like most of the game...
9-0-8.
Yeah. If he dies, I'd be surprised at this stage too, because he has ramped up so massively with gold that he should just never die.
Yeah, and that's a Rek'Sai with almost what looks like a Spirit Visage as his 4th item here as well, so... Yeah, that's going to be a 6-item Rek'Sai.
That's a very big Rek'Sai. Like, they weren't all big enough without the Rek'Sai as well.
How many sticks can Perfection hold as well?
He's a wizard, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he's got sticks, he's got a book, he's got a weird thing on his shoes.
Yeah, but he's a wizard. Remember Hermione's badge?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Knockups, though, here onto Immunity as Otherness going to get caught out. Ryu trying to find his way, and he does manage to get himself a red buff as Perfection eats a fish. Charm the Water's not going to really do too much damage, though, from the full tank Fizz. And Immunity not going to lose anyone. It's just a little bit of a scrap.
This is the side of a team that is 2 behind right now. They're actually so far behind that when they catch someone out of position, essentially, they're now the ones caught in a very awkward spot. Pushing into this bottom lane, they're freely able to do so. As you see, a nice dodge.
Yeah, that was actually a flash out from King there as well.
Whoa, that crit.
Actually, no, it was just Otherness, and now he's just going to get crit in the face and destroyed. Oh my goodness, almost 2-shot there from King. Getting some more crits onto Ryu as well, who wishes he was a little bit more tanky. Some decent items actually coming in from Cheese at this point. He's got that trinity of AP carry items, but at 35 minutes, it just feels too little too late. And Direwolves just wander in and take their second inhibitor. Cheese takes an Urchin Strike, but Ryu just can't offer too much here as Cheese going to get Hemo Plague. Perfection pulls in, does have another rotation, and can't even continue the Shockwave. T-Gun, he wanted to get Sonya's off, I swear. But he just couldn't as Immunity relegated to the fountain, and Direwolves going to take down their 6th win of the OPL, putting themselves into clear 2nd place.
Yeah, Direwolves finding themselves with a very convincing win right now against this Immunity lineup, and they just never look like faltering at all.
No.
Exceptionally strong performance all around from every single member of this Direwolves lineup, and Immunity just did not have an answer. If you had to give it to one person, though, on the back of Sybil, he made that whole game work.
Yeah, Sybil, it was all on him, making sure that Cheese could never catch a break.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the pressure that he put in the right lanes at the right times, went back to the top lane straight after, found kills there, and it was just ridiculous how well he played.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot that Immunity could do, but for more on the Direwolves victory, let's throw it out to Pastry Time and Spawn on the desk.
Thank you very much, Atlas and Rossi, and what a fun game to watch there between Immunity and Direwolves. Well fought from both sides, and the Direwolves, despite some of the roster shuffles that are coming through, kind of look like they're still playing the same game.
Yeah, they certainly did. And, you know, if anything, it really woke King up. He had a fantastic laning phase, especially after Chippies was sent back early on Alistair. T-Gun did a good job of harassing him out of lane, but, you know, King just took over. He was 60 CS up and really doing work there on Kaelin.
Yeah, we said King had to lead the lane, and lead he did there. But Chippies certainly held his own there in some of the team fights maybe there as well. And this is a really fun game. So what we're going to break down now is something that's probably familiar to a lot of you, very fun to say, Wombo combo spawn. What are we talking about there?
Yeah, so if we pull up the graphic, Wombo combo is when you put together like 3 or more champions that really contribute CC and then damage on top of it. So you got things in the top like we had in that game, being able to do it. Coming out of the jungle, you know, we had a Rek'Sai this time just for some knock up on that element. So already you've got 2 displacements coming through. Middle lane, it's kind of weird because you can do one of 2 things. You can go for CC, something like an Orianna, something like a Yasuo, or you can go all-out damage, which is exactly what Perfection did there. He went with the Vladimir, and it just augmented everyone else's damage. You know, AD carry doesn't really matter down there. It's great if you get something like an Ezreal or something like a Graves to shoot over the top, but Alistair is a big one here at the top. As you can see, as we pull up the graphic, team comp graphic coming through from, the Direwolves there, they had 3 out of 5 of those.
So you can see in those key positions that you pointed out, we got the top lane, we got the jungler, and we got that support. And here, we pretty much just got damage between Perfection and King.
Yeah, exactly right. King could have played whatever he wanted, honestly, that King. He played it really well. The big one is Perfection's ultimate across everything means that Sharp, even though he doesn't go super aggro on his build, still does relevant damage. All of a sudden, Sybil does a little bit of damage on top of there as well. And Perfection does a lot of damage.
Yeah, and kind of the final, I guess, important thing about Wombo combo is that when you're putting them together, you can't just have the ultimates there and just sort of use them like bit by bit, sort of trickle in. You need to combine them together to make some sort of CC chain, whether it's a single pick or trying to win a whole team fight.
Yeah, and that's a really important thing. Wombo works in both situations. You can Wombo someone, although it's a lot of cooldowns, or you can use it on a whole team.
Well, let's bring up our first replay here. We have just pretty much one person getting Wombo. This one was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, so at the start of this replay, the best thing is it shows you why you don't give T-Gun Morgana as well.
Yep.
So over the wall, as we roll it out, T-Gun nails King with a bind, walks around, Ryu gets in there, really is fed at this point, gets King down and takes him out of the fight. And right now you're thinking, wow, they're going to chase him for more kills. But if we pause it right here, you have the whole of the Direwolves lineup coming up river. You know, immunity there's as well, sure, but they've used 2 really important ultimates, and Chippy's got his ultimate running, so no one's killing him.
No, and important to note as well, Sharp does have his teleport. He'll actually TP in fairly soon. He's got a lot of rage left on the Mega now, so he's ready to go with his CC as well.
Yeah, he certainly is. So when we roll this one out, you'll see the teleport. It comes through straight away. The rest of the members are coming in. Chippy's still like, you cannot kill me. I'm the angriest bull. And then all of a sudden, Cheese gets destroyed.
Yeah, you can see, if you missed that one, that was Flash Pulverize, Headbutt, Vladimir ult, Gnar ult. And I think a Rek'Sai knock up there as well. That was a lot of Wombo combo.
Yeah, so in the end, they use their Wombo. They take out one really important member, make it a 1-for-1. More importantly, able to push through, get those structures afterwards, and control of the lane.
Yep, so nice stuff. So now we're going to see another replay. This time, let's see the whole thing in action. So is the team fight here? It's pretty scattered, actually. So watch for pockets of combo, but they really piece this CC together very nicely.
Yeah, they certainly do. And the important thing is immunity is running forward in this comp, so it's even harder to coordinate if you're the Direwolf. So as we get this one rolling out, you see it looks really good for them, but they group up. And if you freeze right here, you see Sharp. He's like licking his lips. The Hemo Plague's down on 3 members. There's 4 people nearly on top of him. And if we roll it back through at half speed, you can see he just piles everyone in the wall. All the knockups come back through, and they just completely destroy the team.
Yeah, you can see the rest of the positioning. Immunity were charging forward down the lane, trying to clean up here, and that carry is just dead in this little area that you can see. So using a really smart combo there. Sharp, very aware, had the rage going, had his flash up there as well. Really smart snap decision to be like, we can just kill these carries. They do, and it's pretty easy clean up from there.
And the important thing to note out is King got an ultimate in that team fight. He was 3,000 gold of their lead at that point, so there's only like 4,000 gold scattered across the rest of them. And Chippy's was relatively fed, so a lot of it was on the Alistair, but just the ability to layer the CC, get the ultimates going, all the augmentation from Perfection, just meant that immunity never had the chance.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. Great performance from the Doves. Again, a lot of fun. Good to see them still playing nice and aggressive. We're going to pop ourselves back in the studio for a bit more on the game.